Hello, dear friends. Hello, everyone.
It's gonna take like 2 minutes to go live for real because it's ads and stuff.
Ok, pero todo esto sale.
I see you now because I
Okay,
skipped the ad.
okay. Hello, dear friends. Good morning, good afternoon. So let's see how many people we have. Two. We'll wait for a minute. Boo. Anna and I were laughing about what we were going to talk about because my hair is scary.
No.
Hi, Tooth Fairy. How are you doing? Hi, Christine. How are you?
How are you doing, Christine? How's your recovery?
Anna wants to know how your recovery is, Christine. So,
Fairy's tired.
you're tired. Christine, I had that same thing that you went through. Something like that. Anyway, you will be okay. Follow the doctor's instructions and you will be okay. Hi there, Brad. So, how are you doing? So now we have 3 people with us. You're doing all right? Okay. I'm glad. It's one of those things that you have to go through, you have to do whatever therapy they tell you, and it just takes a little bit of time. And once the thing is out, then it's okay. So, uh, okay, so we're going to be talking about something that Anna and I have been talking about: scary moments in knitting. I will tell you one of the scariest moments. I was with a student of mine, Mary, not Mary Lloyd, another Mary, and they still get together in her house. The people that I used to teach. Uh, During the pandemic, everything closed, like Hobby Lobby and Northside Independent. That's scary. That's scary. So during that time, everything closed, and now what are we gonna do? So Mary opened her house to us, and we started going there, and we were all doing okay, no symptoms or anything. And there was this agreement that if any of us have symptoms, we don't go. And so a couple of them, their husbands had COVID, or a son had COVID, so they did not go because they could be, they could be infected and not have any symptoms. Anyway, we got together, and that Mary, in which house we went, was doing lace. So she was making a shawl, and she makes these shawls and then leaves them at church, just like wrapped around one of those benches, and whoever needs it picks it up. And then she would knit something beautiful and give it to a person in a nursing home. And so, like, oh, wow, that work. So, yes, Mary did that. And she was making a lace stitch, and it had like a 16 stitch repetition. Little Brad is falling asleep. And so it was a 16 stitch repetition, and she lost the stitch. She didn't know where it went. And okay, so usually when I had her put, markers every 16 stitches, but she lost a stitch. She had only 15. Where did it go? So that is scary, because if you have a lace stitch and that stitch went like all the way down and it had to be picked up, like knitted together and all that kind of thing. So sometimes you have to bring all your unravel and pick up the stitches in a purl row in which you can easily pick up, but it's very difficult, very difficult. So please use lifelines. And the lifelines are...
It's very scary when you have to unravel lace because it's so intricate, and some of them are knits and some of them are yarn overs and some of them are pearls, and so some of them are this and some of them are this, and
Yes.
You have to pick them up like this or like this, and you know sometimes you end up unraveling and you have to untwist them as you go.
Yes.
It's very scary when you make a mistake when you're doing lace.
Yes.
It's so complicated.
It is very scary. So believe me, very, very scary. Like, where did my stitch go? So you're awake? Okay. So that's one thing. And then so you, or you have an extra one, or you have a space in between, things like that, so use your spacers, keep counting every 16 stitches for your repetition, or 5 or 2 or whatever repetition, but use the spacers. See, I'm making a hat here. And I use the spacers, see? The spacers, these are the spacers. Or I call them spacers or stitch markers, whatever you want to call them, but I use them all the time because I don't want to think a lot. And okay, and so maybe you're making something like cable like this, and then you lost a stitch, and you have, like, instead of 5 and 5, you have 5 and 4. So where did the stitch go? Did I lose it all the way down here? And what happened to it? So maybe in one of these rounds you lost the stitch and it went all the way down, and now you have to pick it up. It's okay if it's something like this because you can pick it up. It's garter stitch. But what happened to Rusty, which is another student of mine, and I don't know what happened to her or where she is at. And what happened to Rusty, she made baby blankets for everybody. So, little Brad, okay, happy Halloween, dear friends. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, little Brad.
Thank you. Thank you. So, what happened to Rusty? She made baby blankets. So, someone who was pregnant and was going to have a child, she would make a baby blanket. Of course, with time, she had debilitating muscles. So she was much slower, and sometimes she would finish a blanket when the baby was already born, or when the baby was 3 months old, or stuff like that. she still knitted the blankets. And one time, it's one of those things that you keep knitting and you keep knitting and you keep knitting. And then she picked it up and there was a hole right in the middle. So, she had maybe 150 stitches on her needle, and the hole was right in the middle. And it was maybe like 3 or 4 days of work, and the hole was there, and she didn't want to take it off. So what she did, what we had to do was that I had to pick up a piece of yarn, of the same yarn, maybe something like that, and create an extra stitch in order to close it. And then, of course, since it was a blanket and you could see it on both sides, so that meant that you had to be very careful on passing your yarn, following the stitches, and create the extra one, and then keep sewing with the extra yarn so that the hole would close, but you could not see much of the yarn going through. Anyway, that is scary. Now, what happens? Anna's going to tell you about that.
Which one?
You're knitting and knitting and knitting and knitting and knitting and knitting, and then what time is it?
Did I pick up my kid already? What day is it? Oh, time to go pick him up. It's 15 minutes. Let's do it. And it happened to me at least twice already, where I was just like so into it that I didn't know what time it was. And one time I was like, oh my gosh, I need to go pick up the child. And I still went on time. And the second time, I couldn't remember if I had picked him up already. For like 3 minutes, I'm like, hold on. Did I pick him up? And I just opened the door to see if I hear noise downstairs. And then I'm like, oh, okay, he's already here. Oh, that's right, I already fed him.
You lose your sense of time. Hasn't it happened to you that you lose your sense of time and you don't know where you're at? Like when you fall asleep in the middle of the day and you don't know if it's next day.
Yeah.
It's a very funny thing. And then Anna is calling something a yarn monster. Tell them about
the yarn monsters are classic. They tend to appear out of nowhere. They're the scariest of all because all of a sudden they transform into a ball of mess. And they're so hard to deal with. You don't know where they start or where they end.
Yes.
And it can take you a few hours to deal with them. Those are the yarn monsters.
The yarn monsters.
I've taken pictures of yarn monsters before.
Yes. And everything becomes a mess, and you don't know where to start, and then you have to open the whole thing to see if you find a tail. So where is a tail? A beginning or an end? Whatever comes first. At least I can see where it is. And it happened to Mary Lloyd once and in class, and it was very, very strange because she was, she had this skein of yarn. So she had to open and put it over a chair in order to make a ball. So I don't know what happened, that the whole thing fell off the chair and everything became a mess because the yarn was very thin and everything got like out of hand. That is scary, very scary, because you don't. So she had to take the mess. She had her ball and she had to take the rest of the mess home. And then some people don't put their yarn around a chair,
Oh no, we don't. I don't.
holding it, and they put it around. They fold their knees and they put it around their knees.
And they have to lift up the knees.
And, yes,
it's like exercising.
it's an exercise, but they put it around their knees, their legs, and they. That is very scary for me. I do not do that. I do not do that. Don't do that. Put it around a nice chair, a nice square back, whatever, but make it fit on the back of the chair and make it fit all the way down. So even if it's more work and your arms have to go around more, but do it, please. Don't make the mistake of a mummy bowl, a mummy yarn ball. So yes, a tunic.
Or the one where you have your project in your bag, and then you take it out of your bag, and accidentally one of the needle comes out and unravels your project.
That's scary. That is scary.
And you're like,
yes. And now you have to go and pick up your stitches, and then you think, I should never have brought my knitting. And then you can kick yourself because you had all the best intentions on knitting, and now your work is picking up the stitches back into the needle. So, and then please put lifelines. Really, really, it saves you. It will make you happy. I know it's extra work, but it will save the day. Really, I mean it. And then, Anna, and then when you don't have enough yarn,
when you don't have enough yarn, you're like, and you have like this little tail, or maybe like this much, and you're like, am I gonna make it? And you go to the store, or you go to the store expecting to find the same yarn, and there's none left.
Usually it doesn't happen to me.
No, of course it doesn't happen.
Because I buy so much of it.
You already know how to calculate how much yarn you're gonna need.
Yes, but a lot of people don't. I remember once in class that Nancy needed 3 yards to, well, she didn't know how much yarn she needed to bind off. And it was important that she finished the work right there without taking off, because it had a pattern. Anyway, I don't know if I'm going to have enough. One rule of thumb: if you're using a medium-sized needles, like in thickness, maybe like a size 8, 3 yards will give you, no, 1 yard will give you about 30 stitches. So I kind of measured, let's see, 1, 2, 3, yeah. You're going to have enough. And when she finished the row, she had this much left. And she couldn't believe that she made it anyway. So yes. And then the fuzzy yarns, Anna.
Oh, I'm working with a fuzzy yarn, and it's such a mess. It's so frustrating because if you need to unravel, the stitches get like stick to each other, and you kind of have to like separate them one by one. And it's frustrating. So if you're knitting with fuzzy yarn, make sure it's something really simple. Like I just gave up and did like completely jersey, because it's like, if I have to unravel.
Yes, it is.
It's the fuzzy monster.
The fuzzy monster yarn. There was something that little Brad was talking about up here that She had a story.
No, she was
And-
saying that's scary. That's not scary. That's a heart attack. And I asked her which one, and she said the one where you pull out your needle,
Yes.
and all your stitches come off.
Yes, that's a big. And then Christine was saying that she was knitting a tunic and lace work on the sleeve.
Oh, she finished it, and she told us that one sleeve was shorter than the other.
Oh.
She had already sewn it together and everything.
Oh, yes, that is scary. But you can tell your daughter, no, it was on purpose. So yeah.
No more scary stories.
When you lose a needle.
Oh yes, when you lose a needle.
Well, you open your bag and you only have one needle. That is why I use circular needles.
Yeah, I stopped using regular needles. I only use circulars now.
Because it's attached.
Yeah.
So
there's no way of losing. If you lose something, you lose the whole thing.
Yes, see, I'm knitting flat, but I'm using circulars. So circular needles are magic. So use circular needles because, and then of course they're easier to hold. They're easier for your arms, and people with arthritis or stuff going on. Yes, you do need it. Anyway, thank you very much for being with us.
Says buy needle stoppers. I've never used them before, but I think it's a good idea.
Yes.
But what if you pull the stopper too?
That's just real bad luck.
I mean, sometimes when you pull out your project, you pull all of it out and like snacks on something, on the zipper.
Oh, that's another one. That's another one. What if you pull a stitch and it goes right in the middle of your work?
When it pulls all the way down. Like in one section and it goes.
No, but not only that, when you pull at a stitch, like right in the middle, and you have a loop, like a loop, and then of course you have to be very patient and pick it up and pass to one side and then pass it to the other, move it around with your hands and stuff like that. When you pull at any place in your work, and then you have to kind of ease it in. Anyway, thank you very much for being with us. And what is it? Or use an elastic. I use rubber bands. You know those little rubber bands, the little ones. And I put the rubber bands around like this, or hold my two needles together and use a rubber band around it. Just hold it like this, or any kind of yarn. So for example, I have this piece of yarn here, and I will just go like so.
I tell them that I put my needles in my yarn when I carry.
Yes, I do too.
I said I stab it.
You what? Yeah,
I
you
stab it.
You stab it. Yes, so I do that too. I do that too. We all have tricks because I love needle stoppers, but I use them.
I don't think I've seen you with needle stoppers at all.
No.
You never had them, and I never had them either.
No.
I mean, I'm sure they can be useful.
And I have some somewhere. You know,
you do have everything.
Yes, I have everything, but they're somewhere, and I don't use them. I just don't. Anyway, thank you for being with us, and happy Halloween to all of you.
Oh, that's true. I never thought about that. Marilyn said that splits your yarn.
Yes, it does. It punctures the yarn. When you put it inside, it harms the yarn. So yes, but just use a rubber band or a piece of yarn like so, and wrap it around. Okay, so about Patreon, Anna,
I have hidden aggression.
you what?
Little breakfast I have hidden. If I don't express them with my yarn, better deal with it that way.
Yes, yes, because knitting is therapy, so take it as.
If you want to and you can, please join us members on Patreon. We do have the free the free join for free feature there, and I do post content for that, but I mostly post for members. And if you're a member, you get the cheat sheet, you get the 2 free patterns for the higher membership, you get to be part of the monthly live broadcast, and get all the behind the scenes and my mom's design process when you are a member. Please join us or tell your friends about it. We need more members.
Okay, thank you for being with us, and we will see you next Wednesday. Like we have fun talking. Thank you, thank you. I'm gonna go stabby stab. Poor yarn ball, yes. Stabs. Hidden aggressions. Okay. Love you all. See you next Wednesday.